Hi guys, welcome back to the YouTube channel. My name's Rebecca, and today we've got the lovely James from the James Wright ACCA YouTube channel. James is a lecturer of ACCA, and he's going to tell us a little bit about himself today, how he supports ACCA students, and also a little bit about the ACCA. So I'm just going to hand it over to you, James. So introduce yourself.
Lovely. Oh, thank you very much, Rebecca. And thank you very much, everyone who's watching, and for the welcome onto the channel. My name is James. I'm an ACCA qualified member, FCCA now because I'm old. We'll come on to that later on. But it's a case of I pump out content online, just really what I'd have liked to have known when I was back doing my ACCA studies all those years ago. So if you have any questions, I'm sure Rebecca will pass on my details, put them at the bottom. And I hope it helps because it's all the things that I wish I'd have had when I was studying. I didn't have a mentor or anything like that, apart from people at work. So yes, I hope you enjoy the content and thank you for having me on.
Very welcome. Yeah, we will definitely, and we'll pop some information in the comment section below.
Sure.
But as we go on with the video, if you've got any questions, then feel free to pop those below, and we will do our very best to answer them. But yeah, back over to you, James.
Oh, it's all right, no worries. Well, if you're going to do your ACCA, usually most tutors refer to it as sort of the 3 E's on there. So you've got your exams, you've got your ethics, and you've got your experience for it. So in order to become qualified, you've got to get 3 years of qualifying experience as an employer on there. And then you've got, sadly, 13 exams if you were to start from start to finish on there. So that's where I'm afraid, you've got exams. That's the bottom line of it. You may go to university or do your AAT. So you'll be entitled to some exemptions on there. And then finally, you have your ethics and professional skills module. So that's where it's a case of you do these online modules whilst you're doing your studies, and they link into the examinations. And then lo and behold, at the end of your 3 years, which will be the quickest time you could get it done, as to having all of those ticked off, you get your certificate posted to you. And as I'm sure people watching this will have seen on LinkedIn and places like that, you can take a very smug photo of you holding it up on there. To which 5 years after qualifying, you become what is known as a fellow of ACCA. So that's 5 years of completing your CPD, continuous professional development. But that's down the line on there, because I think most people who are watching this video will be there going, well, I'm not sure about the exams, James. I'm not sure about this. And what if I, what was your experience on all these different areas for it? So for context, before we go on to some questions Rebecca's going to fire at me, I did a study contract, which means that, or a student contract, depends how you know it as, where I worked for an employer in practice for 3 years. So you're working, studying at the same time, and they kindly paid for all of my studies on there, where I had people who worked in the practice who were also ACCA members. So I used to pester them as to, how do you pass this exam? Or, I failed exams before, so it's a case of just learning from it on there.
No, absolutely. One of the things that I get asked a lot on the channel, so my channel, we focus a heck of a lot about the AAT and the ICB, the CPAA. But really, firstly, what is the ACCA? What does it stand for? And how does that differ to some of the other qualifications?
Yeah, so that's the Association of Chartered Certified Accountants on there. It's the most, well, this is where we're getting into the realms of which one's the best and all this sort of stuff on there. Now, I get this all the time, but when you're working in practice or you're working in industry and you've got all your years of experience and you're qualified, to be honest, it's a case of once you're qualified, people just say, oh, you're a qualified accountant, rock and roll on there. The only slight difference is that ACCA is more globally recognized in terms of it. ICAW has more members in the UK, but in terms of if you want to go work overseas as well, then ACCA is more recognized worldwide. But then that's not to say that CIMA and ICAW aren't as well. So it's a case of all the qualifications are great for you to have to your name. You could go work overseas and abroad if you want to on there. But it's a case of, I just wanted to know how a business worked from top to bottom. And the main board of directors, CEOs, I think it's 52% of CEOs in the FTSE 100 are all chartered accountants, because you've got to know the ins and outs of a company, cash flow, profitability, all the rest of it.
That's interesting. So then why did you choose to do the ACCA?
So this is another question, which is one of those controversial ones, because there'll be people watching this going, "Oh my word, he's so biased on that." To be honest with you, I had the option of the two, ACCA and ICAW, but it was just the people I worked with were just so pro ACCA, and I went to a couple of online webinars and the advocacy that goes on out there with the way that the professional body wants you to get involved was just second to none. When I was at university, the first lecture that I saw from a professional body was ACCA as well. So that's what I try to encourage on my channel, as to I had these resources that are out there, but they're nevertheless ICAW, SEMA, they all have the same sort of things out there. It depends what you want to do, really. But that was the sort of bottom line, that it was the most globally recognized, and I didn't know where I was going to work in the future, so I knew it was going to be recognized wherever I'd go, to be honest with you.
So then with that, what sort of topics does the ACCA cover? So how does that prepare you, to become a chartered certified accountant,
Yeah.
working in practice or industry?
Yeah. So that's the beauty of it, is it's very flexible as to, we all have different changes in our lives and careers, that you'll do the bread and butter like all the other professional bodies, where it be financial management. You've got to do taxation, audit on there. You're going to have to do financial reporting. You have case studies that you're going to have to do, and then you have two option papers at the end, which I picked advanced audit and assurance, and I picked advanced taxation. Because I quite like tax, it's very interesting. I quite
Yeah.
like wealth management as well, it's very interesting on there. And I picked advanced audit and assurance because I went, might go into it in the future, wasn't sure. But you could also do performance management, so a bit more management accounting, or you could have done advanced financial management on there if you wanted to go down the wealth management, funds, that sort of area. So it's really flexible as to, yes, you get the qualification, and then you can transition to different areas in the future, depending on what you want to do. You're not pigeonholed into one specific area.
No, and I think sometimes that's scary for individuals because there is so much to choose from that you almost get, a mind block, mind freeze because
Yeah.
there's just so many options available to you. But what would you recommend to somebody who, is ACCA qualified and looking for that next step? How do they go about making that decision?
Right. Okay. Well, it comes down to the bottom line, and it's a question that nobody likes to ask themselves, as to what do you actually want as well? Because there are lots of people in the UK, I think it's 3 in 4 people turn up to a job which they don't actually like or enjoy on there.
Yeah.
So that's why I say to myself, well, I'm glad I'm in the one in 4 on there, that I just help people out every day, and trying to make complex problems easier to digest. That's what I try and specialize in there. So it's a case of just trying different things out. There are free online courses that you can get involved in, 10 networking events, get on LinkedIn. If there's someone who's in a role that you quite fancy, drop them a message, or someone else who works at a similar company. And I bet you any money, they will get in touch and, oh my word, they've actually been really kind and thoughtful and asked nicely. So they'll give you the time of day on it, unlike some industries, which you just can't get hold of some people for it. So if you're
No.
thinking about a career transition, do your research online, have a look on the job sites online, like you've got ACCA jobs, ICAW careers, and then get in touch with professionals who are doing what you're doing. Because the one thing you wouldn't want to do is spend 2-3 years getting all the experience, getting to that position you want to be at, and then finding, hang on a second,
Yeah.
I can't go play golf, I can't go pick up my kids from work and stuff like that. So kids from school, sorry.
Yeah. But it's about finding that balance between making sure that you're taking time for the family and also that you're doing something that you enjoy. And it is
Yeah.
really important to get right from the start.
Yeah, but it comes back to that question. What do you want? That's the thing.
So then where are you now? So after you've qualified, what is it that you do? What's your sort of typical day look like? I'm going to ask you a few
Oh my
questions,
word.
but how did
That's
you
all
get into
right. Yeah.
that as well? Tell us what you
So
do.
I work as a lecturer in the UK at the University of Lincoln. So I teach students who are undergraduates, year 1 to year 3, that could be 18 years old to 21. And they're just sort of getting into their careers as to, do they want to go into accounting? Maybe they might transition to elsewhere. Then I also teach on the master's programs on things such as ethics and sustainability, and also the MBA program. So people who want to set up their own businesses, and it could be just operating in the UK or overseas, depending on the individual on there. So I get a good variety on it, and I help manage the relationship between the university and ACCA in terms of the exemptions and how we can provide as much value as possible to our students on there. Away from that, we do other bits and bobs, like produce content on YouTube. I do collaborations with some of the tuition providers, multinational businesses that get in touch, how we can communicate with the new talent coming through as well. It's a wide variety, where my email box, some days you just go, oh my word, on there. But I love it. It's not work. It's not work. It's just good fun. And you just help out as many people as you can. So if you have watched any of the content, I hope you enjoyed it. And there'll be plenty more to come.
Yeah, no, we're it we're quite lucky, aren't we, in that regards that, we get to spend our days helping individuals. And it really gives purpose behind what we're doing. So then quick question, James. So what's your sort of typical day look like now in your current role?
Yeah, sure. I'm very transparent on it. So I would say the alarm goes off at 6, but I don't even need an alarm anymore. So even sometimes goes off at 5:30, that your body just wakes up straight away. So first classes will be at 9 a.m. But away from accounting, you've got to get into reading around your subject and working out how other people are doing, how they're self-improving themselves as well. So I try and get most of my day done in the first few hours of the day as well. So I try to avoid emails first thing in the morning, because I've got a better use of my time to actually record content, because I'm more focused in the morning. So
Yeah.
I've worked out when my most productive hours are, and if any of my students get me 9 till 12 in the morning, then I'm full of energy as such on there. Then obviously it's the balancing of what I've got on a particular day, if it's face-to-face classes, online on there. And then obviously I have other commitments, such as being the head of international for the Americas for the university. We do student engagement projects as well. Then you have collaboration. So I have meetings that can start, if I'm working with an Indonesian partner, they could be at 5 a.m. because they're 7 hours ahead.
Yeah.
Or we do other ones where I'm having to be on a call 8, 9 o'clock at night, where I'm quite known in the business school that I will have meetings whilst I'm on the bike or on the treadmill, because if I don't go on the bike at that time, I haven't got time for it. Away from work and other bits and bobs, I'm part of other partnerships where we run other businesses. So we work out about looking for products online that we can maybe sell as well. I'm also a marathon runner, do triathlons on top of it
Oh, wow.
from there. And then every year we go to at least one different country around the world on top of it on there. So it's a case of, I like to do my reading as well. And then it's, what are your non-negotiables? So mine is, I have to exercise every day. 15,000 steps. I have to be reading my books. I have to be posting on LinkedIn. I have to be doing, all these sort of things, because you look back and you go, oh, who knows what could come from it? And I just enjoy the process. That's it. Just, you got to, the great analogy I heard the other day, being a big runner, was lots of people online now like to celebrate the start of what they're doing or the end goal, but
Yeah.
lots of people are not very good at the middle part. And it's the middle part, which is where the hard hours that you can't be bothered, but you still go ahead and do it, all these sort of things. And every hour is so important now. It's that's why I just try and pump out as much content as I can to help as many people.
Love it. So then on the channel, what sort of things do you cover then with the ACCA? So what's the style of your channel?
Well, obviously, we run a very high budget channel of naught. I literally have no budget to have on record. I produce videos on all 13 exams on there. And then I
Wow.
also interview ACCA members from around the world in their different sectors, so that you get to hear their insights. And it's all for free for students on there. So we get some of the top tutors from all the different exams. They come on the channel, share their insights as well. And you get to know them on a one-to-one basis on there. We've sort of branched out now into other areas like ICAW. Rebecca's kindly come on the channel and done some AAT content. And to be honest, I think it's just going to get bigger and expand even further. That I want to get on the channel people who have worked at maybe the Big Four or in practice to share their insights on there, and then we'll go from there. And it will just honestly, there's so much content to record. There's just not enough time in the day on there as well. So
No,
yeah, I do my best. I do my best.
we always talk about this, aren't we? Because even I get it on my end where there is that much that I could talk about that I could live stream the next 72 hours and not cover everything. Just wouldn't touch the surface.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, if you're looking for anything to do with the ACCA, definitely check out James's channel, which we will put in the comment
Oh,
section.
thank you. Yeah,
Um,
you can find me on. I post on Instagram as well. If we've got any free webinars or if we're doing any Instagram lives where students can come along for free, never charge any students on it or anything like that, and they can come along, pop any questions you have, especially in the webinars. We go through them all. That's the thing on there because
oh
you've given
wow.
up your time, come along, and then it'll be in collaboration with another partner on there, or it could be maybe Catlan or something like that. So yeah, it's all good. Yeah.
So right, I'll end this now because I'll be keeping James all day talking about ACCA, which I'm sure he doesn't mind. But lots of Easter eggs to get eaten on this Easter Monday.
No worries. Well,
Um,
thank you very much, Rebecca, for having me. And I look forward to seeing if anyone's got any questions in the comments. I'll reply to them, so leave them below as well.
yeah, definitely. Well, thank you so much for being on the channel, James, and we'll catch up again soon.
Lovely. Cheers, guys. Have a great day.